Hello and welcome to my new series of videos, Worst Moments, where I deconstruct scenes I and many others really do not like to discover what makes them fail from our point of view. Of course, if you like these moments, this is no slight on you personally, and feel free to express why you disagree in the comments as always. But anyway, let's get into it. Hell-Bent is ripe with moments that one might consider unpalatable. It really is one of the biggest blunders in Doctor Who history, and one that many fans, myself included, despise. The cause of this can be attributed mostly due to moments such as the one I'm about to discuss, which defy the very nature of the show in a very unaware way. In case you didn't know, or had forgotten, in Hell-Bent the Doctor rescues Clara using Time Lord technology and makes off with her on the way, shooting down a Time Lord general. Let's review this moment, starting with the General himself to see whether it was justified. The General is militaristic, sure, but he isn't a bad man. He even stood up for the Doctor at the risk of his own life against Rassilon 20 minutes prior, as a matter of fact. You'd think in this scenario a character like the Doctor would have a good reason for shooting him. Perhaps he ordered the guards to kill Clara, or maybe he was threatening to shoot the Doctor. That sounds reasonable. You'd however be direly wrong for thinking so. There is no reason. The General is pretty much on his own and at the Doctor's mercy, for he holds the gun. It would have been very easy for the Doctor not to shoot the General and run out of the door, but no, he shoots him in cold blood and without any real cause, effectively unravelling 52 years of character development. Of course, some who don't think this is a bad moment might argue that the Doctor didn't kill him. As Time Lords regenerate, the Doctor himself says it's like having a cold when he explains himself to Clara afterwards. To that I say bollocks. Regeneration is not like a cold. Look at how the 10th Doctor handled it. He remarked not even 5 years before this episode aired that regeneration feels like death, and was distraught over the idea of having to become the next Doctor. But I suppose that in itself is a little inconsistent, as the other Doctors took it with a little more bravado, but none of them were exactly happy about it. Most of the time they just seem to be putting on a brave face for the sake of their companions. Look at how scared the 2nd and 7th Doctors were just before their regenerations, when they had no one around they needed to reassure. It's clearly not a pleasant experience. Of course, there is always the pure and simple point that the General wasn't dying. He probably could have lived a lot longer in that body. We know that they can last for hundreds of years sometimes in the same incarnation. Is it really acceptable for a character like the Doctor to so callously and violently shave years off an innocent man's life who had just helped save him not long earlier? If you don't think the answer is no, then you really need to reevaluate your view of this character, as it is severely distorted. Now let's move on to the character of the Doctor. He's not somebody who is necessarily averse to murder if it was required, such as Shockeye and the 2 Doctors, but never has he ever killed a good man purposely in cold blood. The only time we've even been close to that is in An Unearthly Child, when the Doctor wants to kill the caveman, but that was while the character was still developing and gaining empathy for other beings. At this point the Doctor is far beyond that. The Doctor only 2 years prior claimed never to be cruel or cowardly, despite the fact that those words are exactly what I would use to describe the murder of the General. In conclusion, this was a horrible moment that is completely inconsistent with the character and really unjustified in the context of the story. I'm a huge proponent of nuance in characters, and I think the Doctor should occasionally do bad things or make mistakes to show he is fallible, but this just isn't applicable when it's so perversely out of character such as it is here. It's possibly the worst thing you have wrote, Moffat, and demonstrates to me you have very little understanding of this character. I do hope you learn that doing something for the sake of mere vapid political correctness isn't always artistically justifiable.